Howdy. So today we want to talk a little bit about tournament day. So we've had a lot of people end up with what they claim to be a hamstring tension and tightness in the hamstrings on those days. And I don't believe it's always hamstring issues. In fact, most of the time it's turned out not to be. What happens is when they sit around all day, or they warm up, they cool down, they warm up, they cool down, and then they go sit in the stands. And they bring a sandwich, or they sit down, and they may wait as much as report to the staging area mid-morning and may not be out on the floor till literally 4 in the afternoon. So you're going to do a lot of sitting. Here's what happens. When you sit down and you're sitting down, the two ends of that flexor, one that's attached, the other one end is attached to the spinal column at your lumbar vertebrae, the other one is down on the lesser trochanter. When the origin and insertion of the muscle get closer together, you get what's called adaptive shortening, and that muscle wants to tighten. Immediately, when his hips turn forward like that, because when this is tightening, okay, turn sideways, Jim. When he does this, it pulls this hamstring and makes it feel like the hamstring's really tight, when in fact the tension is in the flexor. So the one way you can kind of figure this out really quickly is we just do a waiter's bow, right? So he'll put his feet together. He'll take one hand on his lumbar curve. Now, this is a monitor, so when he feels his lumbar curve go from here to flat, or as soon as it starts to flatten out, he stops. This hand is out here at the same level of his shoulder, and he just bends forward until his lumbar curve starts to flatten, right about there. If he does not feel tension at this point right here on his hamstring, then it's probably not a hamstring. So what we'll do immediately is we'll put him in a flexor lunge. So put him in a lunging position. He tucks his hips forward this way, putting extension. Now, this upper arm is pulling on the iliacus, and he just drops his knee like that, not quite to the floor, and lets it stretch. And you will feel that flexor stretching, okay? I would give it 20, 30 seconds. To make sure that it's not any quad problem, we'll kneel him down right after that. Same thing, he's going to tuck his hips forward, the instep is going to be flat, this arm goes over his head to extend the iliacus, he pushes forward and rotates slightly into the up leg, and then takes his back foot and pushes it into the floor. And this will light up his rectus femoris, and also get a fair amount of flexor, but this would be more quad oriented, where the lunge itself would be more flexor, right, even though both of them are flexors, the actual psoas. And that should take care of it. If you do that and all of a sudden your back just feels really good, boy, my hamstrings really loosened up. Your hamstrings weren't tight to begin with. They were taut because of the pelvic tilt. Hopefully that'll help. Now, by the way, that'll happen with a lot of local tournaments where you're driving for, say, a couple of hours to get to a tournament, and you're sitting in a car, and everybody gets out with that, oh, my hamstrings are tight look. It's not your hamstrings. It's your flexors. Okay? Thank you.